QuickBooks was not built for builders. I think it's a great tool for regular businesses, but when it comes down to construction, project-based businesses, it's not very good, and here's why. In order to use QuickBooks, you have to configure it to be construction specific because it wasn't designed that way. And in order to do that, you have to follow a series of steps. The first step is that you have to set up your chart of accounts, and these need to be construction specific chart of accounts across labor, materials, and subs. Now, once you've done that, you have to set up your cost codes, and in QuickBooks, those are your service items. So let's say you're using the cost codes that are provided to you by the National Association of Home Builders. You have to download the cost codes, put them into Excel, and then you have to map each and every one of these cost codes to an account that you just created. Essentially, what you're doing right now is setting up the back end of QuickBooks so that you're able to do proper job costing because it wasn't built with that in mind. Now, once you've done all of this, then you can start categorizing. But with Sovereign Financial, we do all that heavy lifting for you because the system is designed with builders in mind. So your cost codes and your chart of accounts, you don't have to set that up because it's built into the system. Once you've uploaded your transactions or linked your bank accounts, all you need to do is assign each cost to a project. The first one we have here is an expense in the amount of $13,500 for HVAC services. We click edit, type in HVAC, and then we select the cost code, done, and it's categorized. One more time, we have a 38,000 expense from Cabinet World. Select cabinets, cost of materials, done, and that's your job costing. The reason why this process is so much simpler and so much more seamless is because it was designed with builders and job costing in mind. The setup, the matching accounts, the mapping, irrelevant, unnecessary because we've built that in. The second reason is that QuickBooks makes job costing a very laborious and hectic process. This is the process that you have to follow in order to do it correctly. So you have your transaction from your bank feed, you click into it, and then you have to input three things. You have to input the vendor, so let's go ahead and do that. Then you have to input the cost code or service item, let's say plumbing labor, okay, cool. Then you have to select the project. So let's say this one is for 123 Brayton. 3 inputs required all at the same time, and then you could post it. But with Sovereign Financial, we break down the process into bite-sized pieces, starting with your project first. So all you have to do is go in and assign your project. Simple. So we start with the projects first, and then we layer in the details later. With QuickBooks, you're doing this all at once and all upfront, and that can overwhelm you. If you're not able to sit down to enter 3 different things at one time, it will cause your system to break down, and then you're going to be inconsistent with your job costing. Your numbers are not going to be accurate and reflecting what is happening in your business. But when you're able to do it bit by bit, that's a lot more actionable. It's a lot more consistent so that you're able to get the clarity into your business. And by the way, our financial clarity platform is now available. So if you're a builder and you're tired of the configuration and the unnecessary labor to keep up with your books, then click the link in our bio to book a call and we'll get you set up. Now, the third reason I don't think QuickBooks is great for builders is because it's hard to delegate. Let's say you decide to have somebody take over QuickBooks to manage the bookkeeping for you and you're running multiple projects, right? When the transactions come in, this is what they look like. It's impossible for your bookkeeper to know which costs go to which project because many times you're using the same vendors, but for different projects. So now you have to communicate with the bookkeeper which costs go to which project. You're going line by line, telling them this is for this project, this is for that project. That is so time consuming and it's a lot of back and forth. At that point, you might as well do the books yourself. But with Sovereign Financial, you avoid all of that because costs are tied to projects from the start. So you as the owner, you go in and you assign it to a project, then you hand it off to your bookkeeper who now doesn't have to guess which project it belongs to and they can categorize at the trade level. This saves you time, energy, and lots of headaches. Here we have the project level P&L for 456 Oak Street. These include the costs that we've categorized. Of course, we have a lot more that are uncategorized, but I just want to show you an overview of what that looks like. The same for 123 Brayton, and these roll up really nicely into a global business-wide P&L. I'm not saying it's impossible to achieve solid construction accounting in QuickBooks, but what I'm saying is it requires a lot. First, you have to set up the system. Then you have to input three things at the same time, and you have to do that over and over again to maintain the system. At that point, you might as well get something that was designed for you. So if you're tired of messy books, falling behind on your job costing, or constantly having to explain your transactions to your bookkeepers, then book a call and let us show you a simpler way to keep up with your numbers.